What's up, Lemonheads? Welcome to another episode of From the Yellow Chair. I'm Crystal, and today I'm sitting down with the founder and CEO of Titan Advising Gurus. Y'all, she has deep experience with ServiceTitan. She's turned that really into this fantastic mission where she is helping businesses like yourself maximize their potential through smarter operations and streamlined technology. And I don't know about you guys, but that word streamlining just resonates with my soul today. So she's based out of Missouri, but reaches far across the United States, helping contractors. So grab your lemonade, settle down. Let's sip some lemonade. Perfect. Well, guys, I am so excited to have Jess Krellman in the virtual lemonade stand today, sharing about Titan Advising Gurus. So, Jess, you know I start every podcast off with why should anyone care with what you have to say today?
Well, I have a pretty vast background when it comes to the trades and marketing and ServiceTitan. For me, this is not just a job. It's a way that I can help people. And I started actually in a trades business. And we started using ServiceTitan right when I onboarded with them. So from what I've done, I've worked the whole system from the ground up. I've had to work through ServiceTitan on an onboarding, through setting up memberships, through setting up pro products, and learning all of the nuances and all of the steps that go into that, and growing a business with the help of ServiceTitan. So because I've been able to do that actually in a business setting and then move away from that setting into helping others, I've been able to really understand ServiceTitan and take it to the people and help them with their own accounts and with their own journey with ServiceTitan.
So I love this. So you kind of came from a world of like student housing and hotels, and then you move over to managing this HVAC office. And then you realize, like, oh my gosh, we've got to learn all these products. So, one of the biggest issues I hear from contractors is like the overall setup of ServiceTitan feels very daunting to them.
Yes.
And so you've actually been through that, right? Like you even told me, like through trial and error, you just like gained enough understanding to be able to dominate it. Because ServiceTitan is a beast. It's one of those like necessary evils, but it is a beast to deal with, right?
You can't know the whole system. It is too robust. It goes way too deep in every single area. So and also to understand how things talk to each other, to really understand the system, all encompassing, and how one thing affects another, it is daunting, and it does take a lot of time.
Well, I share with contractors all the time. Like we just had our Lemon Seed conference not that long ago, and this guy raises his hand. He's like, I'm really thinking about moving from this software over to ServiceTitan. And you can hear this visible like or auditory moan in the audience. But I love what you said here. Like it's invaluable lessons of adaptability, perseverance, and the power of leveraging those tools. And so a lot of times I'll tell a contractor, like, do not battle this integration of a new software on your own. There are too many resources now to help guide you through that process. Like most contractors, like my brother, my dad, my grandpa, they were never engineers. They were never coders, right? So the idea, especially those that are over the age of probably 40, we're like, oh my gosh, this technology is so daunting.
Yeah.
But it's about just having a strategy and a plan. And like I preach this all the time, understanding the chaos that might come. So I don't want to be surprised by chaos. I don't mind being prepared for a little chaos, but my sister and brother-in-law operate a pest control company, and they just went live with Field Routes, which is ServiceTitan's answer to pest control side.
Yes.
And my sister was in the same boat. Yeah, my sister was in the same boat. She was like, oh my gosh, but she just kind of owned it and ran with it. And so what were some of the biggest lessons that you think you learned from being a ServiceTitan user that you now have applied towards people that you're supporting in the industry?
To ask for help.
From ServiceTitan or from other friends? What is the best bet?
From anybody. There are so many people, like you said, that use this system that have been through the trial and error, that have gone through all of these steps already. just ask for help. There's different Facebook groups, there's the community pages, there's the training that they've put together, the certifications, and then there's companies like ours. There are just so many options that you have available that weren't available a couple of years ago even. So just take advantage of them.
Yeah, and the other thing, when we were prepping for the call and you were talking through some things and you made some notes, I looked at these notes and I was like, you make a note here like many accounts have been set up, many things are set up, but not active. So I met with a contractor not that long ago, and he's like, I've been on Marketing Pro products for 2.5 years. And I'm like, oh my gosh, great. Well, how's that working? He goes, yeah, I've never sent an email. And I'm like, stop it right now. Like, how are we doing this? Same thing with like sending out the simple things, like what I call like elementary sides of ServiceTitan. Like, you don't send out,
that's
like the text messages.
Yeah.
The text messages like that a technician is on their way and here's who it is. And, review automation and things like that. And so I love this idea of asking for help through through the pro products, through the basic things. Again, as contractors, we shouldn't expect ourselves to know the ins and outs. And so asking for help from people that really can provide the services, I think, is a very like pro tip here.
And when you're asking for help, it can also bring in new ideas that you would have never even thought of. A different way to work your membership, a different way to input it into the system. It also eventually going to lead you through a little bit of trial and error. And that on its own is a very valuable learning tool. And you can keep expanding your business with those tools that you kind of gather as you're going through that process.
Well, I love being a ServiceTitan partner. I was actually exiting my family's heating and air conditioning company about the time that they were really starting to fully utilize ServiceTitan as a platform. But I did realize, like, are we utilizing it to its full potential? Are we really taking advantage of the complexity of the program itself? And, I tell people all the time, if you're not going to utilize ServiceTitan for the beast that it is, at least the majority of what the opportunities are, I really don't recommend investing in ServiceTitan at that point, because you're not ready. And you pay for a product that is a very good product, but you're paying for it, right? So if you're not ready to have good product, good information put in so that you can spit good information out. So, what was that aha moment for you? Well, like when you realized, like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Like, I feel like I understand ServiceTitan pretty well. Maybe this should be a business.
It actually was a couple years previous. I was just on one of the Facebook pages, and some guy made a post about needing help with his Marketing Pro, and I needed some extra money. And so I jumped in and I said, I can help you set that up. I can make some phone numbers. I can do some campaigns. I can do whatever it is that you want. And he had Marketing Pro for a bit and it hadn't been activated yet. So I went in and I set everything up on my nights and my weekends and got things rolling. At that same time, he needed a few other things that was kind of out of my realm, because as I mentioned, and as you mentioned, ServiceTitan's so vast. So you don't know everything of the system. And there were some areas that I didn't have the best knowledge. So I had Kim, who's our other owner, come in, and she worked on a few things for him on the side as well, getting set up in his account, like his ACP, those kinds of things. And then we just kind of took it from there. It just kind of grew on its own. It was Kim's idea to actually make this into Titan Advising Gurus. And that's kind of where we're at this point. And that company, and that company's still with us. He's had tremendous growth. He actually just moved into a bigger office, I think a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And again, I'll say this: lemon seed's not for everyone. Your company's probably not for everyone. But what we are trying to do here is help contractors grow in whatever piece of that puzzle we play. And so for you guys, like making the most, like so many contractors, Jess, this, are sitting on a treasure trove of existing customer bases. And like you are not using it. So Lemon Seed has this 3-bucket approach to marketing. Like one is branding, one is call to action, and one is cultivation. And in that cultivation bucket, literally it's about making the most of everybody that's in your database. And 50% of the time, at least, clients have not touched their database.
Yeah.
And then I have the other half of the world who is like inundated their database. But at the end of the day, like consistent and continuous, there is no silver bullet to this. It's
Mhm.
very much about consistency and about just really knowing, niching down on those audiences that you have so
100%.
that you can speak to them wholly. And the Pro Suite has some really cool things. You have to go in with your eyes wide open that, Marketing Pro also requires, massaging and manipulating to get it to do what's right for
Yes.
you. But definitely, trusting these partners like you guys is a great step, because sometimes the best opportunities really though for you came from recognizing when your skills were solving like common problems. And so it's a great
Mhm.
example of that. Well, okay, let's
And
jump into a little bit. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, in Marketing Pro, if you're not on it, you really should be checking it out because it's a fantastic tool. And
It is.
every single one of our clients and even people that ended up not signing up with us, that tool has done so much for them. Just like you said, hitting the database, talking to people, and getting them involved in different ways. Marketing Pro
Yeah.
makes it so easy once it's set up. So
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's true. And we see great success from the consistency of automation set up through Marketing Pro. So I love that. I love that. So let's dig a little bit deeper into that. So I'd like to break down how businesses can kind of set up and really optimize ServiceTitan to really help improve like their operations and even
mhm.
being able to scale long term. I mean, I know it's powerful, but again, back to that whole overwhelming term that we used earlier. So, what do you think are some of the most common mistakes that businesses are making when they're setting up their ServiceTitan?
That they don't understand that ServiceTitan operates like a chain of dominoes. That each
Mm,
piece is interacting with the next and it's creating this powerful interconnected tool that when properly set up, it allows you to generate reports and target audiences and analyze data. But improper configuration or relying
mm.
on workarounds, because I hear that word all the time. I have this workaround, I have that.
Workaround. Yes.
It disrupts that harmony and that setup and that chain of dominoes. It knocks it all over, and you can't have those.
Well,
Uh,
and the important thing about those dominoes is that one faulty domino throws the whole thing off, to your point.
and all
And so,
10 of
yeah,
those things are
workarounds.
messed up. All
Yes.
10.
Yes, yes. It's
Mhm,
important that you utilize the service in the intended way that it was built, if at all possible.
100%.
I understand that ServiceTitan is not perfect. It has all these little caveats in there, but
Always.
when you can utilize a service or a platform or a pro product in the actual way it was intended and designed and
Mhm.
built, you tend to have greater success with it. But still, I know that there's all I watch those groups all the time, and I'm like, man, there's one little caveat that they missed on that. But I love
Uh-huh.
the domino example because
Yeah.
it is exactly like that.
Mhm, mhm. And what's great about ServiceTitan is if you do catch something that's off, you can always tell them, and that's why there's all these updates that come out and everything, and I know it drives people nuts, but it's because they are listening to us if you're able to identify an issue and let them know about it. Um,
Mhm.
but these going back to workarounds, they seem like quick fixes and ways that are going to help the business, but in reality, they do create long-term issues for the business and for your data. Um,
Mhm.
so I forgot where I was going there. You're gonna have to pause that.
No, you're good, you're good. Let's
I
start with this. Where you
finally I
Yeah.
finally was able to like lay over my notes over the screen. So now I'm actually being able to read them. Before I was just kind of trying to go off memory.
You're
Um,
good.
no, where was I here?
You're good. Lupita, just make a note of about 14 minutes in just to kind of
Sorry.
clean. No, you're fine. You're fine. She'll go look at it and take it.
Okay.
Girl, listen, it's normally me, so we're killing it right now. You're doing great.
Now I
So
feel
I
like
will
I'm not
tee.
talking enough, but
No, you're doing great. I'm going to tee you up on another key issue is the system itself might be the problem lying in the setup. So I'm going to kind of tee up the setup problem again. All right, here we go. All right, Jess. So I know I hear what you're saying about this dominoes. It's great. It's a great example, a great analogy of that. So, like when you're learning to generate a new report or target a specific audience, I do know, like sometimes I heard you say, like those workarounds really will hinder the overall functionality, and then you learn a bad practice, and then it affects everything else, right? Isn't that one of the key issues that you identified?
Yeah. And another key issue is thinking that the system itself is the problem, when the real issue often lies in the setup.
Mm.
So I'm going to give you a quick little example here. The trades company I worked with had the company that I worked with previously, they had Marketing Pro, and it was set up by a different person within the company. It was their marketing director, and the product wasn't performing. So we weren't seeing any return at all. It was double sending information. It was disrupting the office and the CSRs and the dispatchers and everything going on in there. And it was a hot mess. It was bad. So we ended up canceling Marketing Pro with them. And then we switched to a different integrated product. I won't say its name, but they made a lot of promises of how it was just like Marketing Pro and how it integrated into ServiceTitan, and it did all these wonderful things that ServiceTitan couldn't do, right? So we switched to them. And then we were with them for maybe 2 weeks, and things were not working the way that it needed to be. Actually, things got worse, if you can believe it, which I could not believe it, but it did. So we decided to go back to Marketing Pro, and this time we set it up correctly. We set it up from the ground up. We redid everything. We didn't do anything like we did in the past. And at this time, when we set it up, we really understood how everything worked together. And once we launched it, it immediately took off. It had the right setup. It understood how the system fed from the client information, and it started functioning the way that ServiceTitan had originally told us that it was going to function. And within a month or two, I had it on autopilot, and it was paying for itself over and over again. And it was delivering even more value every single month. So I guess my point is, if you are facing any issues, don't jump ship. Let's rework it. Let's make it work that it should. And a proper setup can make 100% difference for you and your company.
Well, is that trusting the process?
Yes.
When you trust the process of how things are supposed to go, and you give yourself time, grace, patience to work through those things, you're much better off. Again, so many people are like, I hear it every day, literally like, well, this doesn't work. It's, this doesn't work for me. And I'm like, man, I have one client that I am 90% sure was just set up horribly incorrect. And so, Lemon Seed, we're all up in their marketing dashboard looking for tracking numbers and what's performing and all of that. And so sometimes I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I can immediately identify like, oh gosh, y'all did something crazy here. What happened here? But for sure, like, don't just jump ship. Make sure that you are really focusing on that you're set up properly and that things feel good and that you are trusting the process for sure. Yeah. Well, what about the customer experience? Because, people have heard me talk about this quite often. Brand is very important, but the customer journey of a company trying to do business with you, we should not make it hard to do business with us. We should be accessible. We should be up to date on just local technology things. And so how can optimizing ServiceTitan really impact not just your operations, but that customer experience, the customer journey?
Yeah. With it, your CSRs will have instant access to everything related to a customer's account. It'll be all in one platform, all in one place, and that includes past appointments, upcoming appointments, marketing communications, all the other essential data and details that goes with that customer will be available at the click of a button. And it streamlines everything, and that in itself is a game changer for the customer experience. And with it, customers will also have better and more reliable communication because it's automated for the most part. For example, they'd be informed down to the day when their next service is due if they're on a maintenance plan and need their AC or their furnace tuned up. By enhancing that efficiency, the system directly translates into a superior customer experience, and it makes it easier for the CSRs too. And it's faster, more accurate. The service will help build trust and satisfaction, and it will create a long-lasting positive impact on those customer relationships that you have.
Yeah. So let me tell you, ServiceTitan and CSRs, again, there's power in the connection. There's power in the communication being reliable, being truthful. And then good information into ServiceTitan means good information spit out of ServiceTitan. So when you really work to have good efficiencies and good processes, that not only does the customer service experience drastically increase, but like you mentioned, everything becomes more accurate and more satisfactory to leave a really good impact, not only on the customer, but also on your own team, being able to trust that. So I think the takeaway from this whole little section right here is a well set up ServiceTitan account isn't just about running your business as a whole. It's about building a really good growth and a foundation for growth and that customer loyalty. So your CSRs, it's kind of everything. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about something you mentioned, that link between operations and marketing. So we're going to drop some like actual nuggets here. You're going to tell us some good actual reports, but streamlining operations through ServiceTitan will directly enhance your overall marketing efforts for better customer communication, and also being able to leverage the data that we have learned already, how we can do it. So I know you've talked about operations and marketing being closely tied, but what are some examples of how ServiceTitan really supports both ops and marketing?
Yeah. When it comes to reports, the campaign summary report and the new customer report are incredibly valuable tools. They'll allow you to see what's working and what isn't by comparing the performance of returning customers versus new ones. So for a quick overview, the marketing scorecard, is always excellent and provides a snapshot of key metrics at a glance. I also make it a point to monitor the CSR agent scorecards. Sometimes the marketing is performing well, but the issue lies in not closing the leads. When that happens, I collaborate with the office manager to dig deeper into the data and identify different areas that we need some improvement in.
Well, so when you identify those areas, do you see that sometimes those tend to be the same areas? Like you start realizing that a lot of these things are from the same place, right? The same place of inefficiencies and the same issue. So I don't know about you, but I mentioned this earlier, tracking phone numbers.
Yes.
I use the CSR. So from a marketing aspect, I love to look at the CSR scorecards, mainly because if I need to identify, marketing gets all the all the blame for underperforming businesses and never any of the credit for a top performing business. It's just the way that it is. But sometimes when I can get in there and try to navigate the data, I can try to tell, is this a CSR problem or is this a lead problem? What is the real problem here?
Yeah. And that's why you need to look at everything as a whole.
Yes. And so using those reports to really get a good view and compare performance and all of that is really a great tool to use. And you can automate those reports to be in your inbox every other day, every week, however you want to look at those things. But that marketing scorecard, I tell everybody, it is something that you will love to hate, because I don't know about you, but like listening to your own team's calls is like torture.
I can't do it. I couldn't do it.
Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. You're like, I've trained on this. They still do it wrong. But the marketing scorecard really is going to give you a snapshot of some metrics quickly and at a glance. And so even my strategist at the Lemon Seed side, when we're preparing our monthly call for our clients, they're going to go look at that marketing scorecard. And I've had people tell me, I don't have a marketing scorecard. And I'm like, it's literally on your dashboard.
You just got to scroll down a little bit.
Scroll down. But that marketing dashboard, it takes the tracking number, ties it to the campaign, and ties it to the revenue that was produced. So again, it's not perfect. You still need other insight into the true customer journey. But what it does capture is the last point of contact that a customer has with your company, meaning they might have looked at a paper PPC ad, they might have looked at your Facebook, they might have gotten a postcard, but at the end of the day, they called off of your Google business profile, they called off your website, whatever that looks like. And so that marketing scorecard gives you the last point that made them call. And programs like Searchlight and things like that, they actually give you the completed customer journey, and it complements that marketing scorecard really, really well. But speaking of scorecards, like managing that CSR agent scorecard, one of the things that I watched a client tell me last year was like, this is my highest performing CSR. And I was like, man, like I've listened to her on the phone and she's not great. So what does he see that I don't see? Like maybe I'm just missing something. I don't live there, And then I started realizing like She's not answering the phone. She's not booking calls. Well, they were allowed to score their own calls, leads and
No.
not leads. So of
No.
course she's like, she got a 97% booking rate. And I'm like, how does this work? Well, yeah, when you manage everything is not a lead,
Then you're going to have a great
you're
score.
going to be a rock star.
Yeah. No,
Yeah. So
no.
really, like those of you that are listening that are actual contractors that don't, that maybe have an office manager, I would be very clear with my office manager that what you're looking for is the ability to take a tire kicker and book the call, take a marketing lead. So we spend a lot of money on marketing, right? Lots of us do. So our goal is, marketing's job is to get the phone to ring. Operations goal is to get the work done correctly. And so that's why we are where we are with like looking at these scorecards, is it is impactful, and it will open your eyes to a lot of things that are going on.
Well, and if they're skewing those results, it's skewing the marketing. You don't know where you're putting the money. Is it going in the right spot? Is it going in the
Well,
wrong spot? I mean, it
I'm like,
goes
we're
so much
making
deeper.
yes, I'm like, we're making major decisions
Yes.
off of trusting your
Thousands
CSRs.
of
Like,
dollars a month.
yes, you have got to make sure that what I'm looking at is correct. So,
Yes.
well, that kind of leads into how do strong operations, like, do you think really translate into better reviews and referrals, retention, and things like that?
Yeah. Strong operations are the foundation of delivering exceptional customer experiences. Um,
Yes.
and that customer experience is going to influence your reviews, your referrals, your retention. And some of the reasons why is that consistency and reliability. You know, when
Mm.
operations are well structured, services are delivered consistently on time and as promised. Customers always appreciate reliability, and they're more likely to leave a positive review when that happens. And they're also going to
Mhm.
recommend your business to other people, family, friends. Um, Clear communication also um, create strong operations that customers are kept informed at every step with confirmations, service updates, follow up. Clear, proactive communication continues to build that trust and that loyalty with your customers and with your brand. Um,
Yes.
Efficient problem resolution is another one. With streamlined processes, issues are resolved quickly and efficiently, and it turns negative experiences into positive ones. Um, and happy customers are more often able to leave more positive reviews.
Well, just be solution driven. I just need you
Yeah,
to be solution driven and not focusing on the problem, focus on the solution.
exactly. And an example of that is if you have really clear guidelines and such on how you're going to handle these things, you have a negative review that goes up, you immediately deal with it, you put up a response. If the customer turns out to be happy in the end from that experience, they're going to turn around, they're going to change that review for you, they're going to make it a positive one. And there's nothing better out there than seeing a negative review turn positive, because that really shows future potential customers what you as a business are going to do and what you do for your customers. I think that that's very loud to
Hmm.
your customers. I really, really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once operations are running smoothly, staff can focus on providing that exceptional customer service to its clients. Um, and data-driven insights, such as strong operations, can um, leverage tools such as reporting and scorecards to identify trends and areas for improvement. And this helps ensure that customers' needs are being met consistently, which boosts customer satisfaction
Yeah.
and
The
more positive.
data doesn't lie.
Yes, yes,
Data doesn't lie. And so you have to get in there and figure out if your data is correct and then utilize it, like you're saying, to leverage good operations and strong, I call it operational excellence, really making
I
sure
like
that you're
that.
doing everything you can.
Yes,
Because, I think, again, the takeaway from this little section would be like, um, when your operations roll smoother, it really will benefit your marketing, which is near and dear to my heart. Just I look all the time at companies that are spending a lot of money on marketing and are not doing anything about operationally growing.
mhm,
And it's just about that great experience for the customer and that journey being very, very clean from the get go. So I mean, it's a lot to think of here, but that's why all of us have to work together. We all
mhm.
have to be focused on the same structure here. So Also, I know that Titan Advising Gurus, y'all focus on really empowering the business themselves, right?
Correct.
So you focus on like training in a sense of they're getting more knowledgeable all the time. So to confidently use Service Titan,
Yes.
right? So your mission's about empowerment. So how do you feel? How do you make sure that your clients feel like confident and like self-sufficient through working with you guys? What are some of the tools you use?
So we do it a couple different ways when people come to us. Some owners and businesses do not have the time to set up ServiceTitan or to learn how it functions and why it functions the way that it does. So we'll go in and we'll set the whole thing up for them. So that's one option
Mm.
that we do. Another one is that we'll train them on how to use it. And we do that two different ways. We will do one-on-one sessions and we will go through setups together and we'll stay on that call until it's completely set up the way the customer wants. And, one question leads to 10 more because it's the domino effect, right? But we'll go through all of that with them through those calls, and then they will help set up their full system with us. And then the third one, or the second option to the learning, I should say, is that we'll give them kind of instruction. They'll go in, they'll set it up, but then we'll have a call and we'll go through their setup and we'll ask them, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Did you think of this? Did you think of that? And it's kind of a more trial and error, but it has some guardrails where we can help correct it and function it the way that it should before it is completely live. So different tools for different companies. That way it's tailored to what they need and how they're going to learn. But that's kind of how we help people through the process of learning the product if they want to go that route. I will say most customers that work with us, they want to go the route of you do it, tell me when it's done.
Oh yeah, 100%, absolutely.
Because they just don't have a whole lot of time. You're doing
Right.
everything when you're in the office. You don't have time to learn a new system, but there are those learning options that we offer for them if they choose to go that route.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so again, like you said, most contractors need just some help, like
Yeah.
somebody get it done for me, right? Um, I think that we're in that same boat with limited. Like we love to provide just like the strategy, and be like, here you go, like go implement this. But then they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't have the staff or the people to actually
Yeah.
implement it.
Fine.
Um, I also was thinking through, you're like, what do you think the biggest mindset shift business owners really need when it comes to adopting, into this game of service time? What do you think that looks like for them?
Biggest mind shift has to be, and I've heard it time and time again, is to look at technology as not as an expense, but an investment.
Mm,
Um, it's a tool that's not only for the company, but for the team as well, and enhancing everything across the board for everybody. Because it does that streamlining. It streamlines operations, it improves customer experience, it drives growth. It's not a quick fix. You have to put the time into it to get the results that you're looking for. Um,
yeah,
but adapting technology requires embracing change, being open to learning, and trusting the process as a whole instead of focusing on the short-term disruption, which I think that's kind of where everybody seems to focus on, is that short-term disruption or the cost even that it's associated with. But
yes,
if we can focus on, as owners, the long-term benefits and the scalability that it brings to our businesses, that's what we need to focus on. That's what we need to put our
absolutely.
energy behind.
Absolutely. The scalability was a big thing, contractors were always battling this thing of like, am I marketing too much and I don't have the staff? Am I marketing not enough and I have too much staff? Like you're constantly doing that. So when you adopt technology and the tools that are out there, again, you're going to adopt some technology that doesn't work out the way you intended,
100%.
that isn't what you thought. But again, instead of focusing on the short term issues, focus on, like you're saying, that long term benefit that it's going to bring to your business. So, what advice would you give to someone that's feeling very stuck with Service Titan right now? Like, man, I'm just stuck. I can't get moving forward. What could I do?
Again, it goes back to asking for help. Just ask for help. I mean, I was emailing somebody asking for help the other day on Marketing Pro because everything is always changing. Everything's always getting more and more advanced with ServiceTitan. You're going to need help. It's inevitable. You're going to need help. So just ask for it. And then there's all those different platforms. You can join one of the Facebook groups. There's what's the main one? Masterminds is the
Mm-hmm,
main
mm-hmm.
one. You've
Yep.
got hiring platforms specifically for ServiceTitan out there. You have everything on Facebook as far as asking questions. You can also get enrolled in one of the certified admin programs, take academy courses, or you can just explore one of the certified providers and get some help from them.
Well, shout out to the certified providers. Woo-woo.
That's
Yeah.
what it's about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'll tell you, getting the certified provider, that's a lot. They put a lot
It
of
is.
thought and effort into that test. Not everybody is going to get a certified provider. So if you go with one of them, you're definitely getting somebody or a team of people that really know what they're doing as far as ServiceTitan is concerned.
Yeah. Love it. Well, and I love one of the things you told me earlier was like, I just believe in the platform.
Yes.
And I thought, that's very true. Like that's the same thing. Like I believe in the platform as well. Do I think ServiceTitan is ready for every single contractor in every single phase of business? No.
No.
But I do think those that really jump into ServiceTitan and really learn what they're doing, it is a great option. And like neither one of us are paid to say any of that for ServiceTitan.
No,
And
no.
so we're both speaking from experience, both, personally through our own companies, but then also like the clients that we're working with
Mhm.
right now. So you know what? Empowerment is the real goal there.
Yeah, don't
It's
give
not
up.
just about, yeah, don't give up. Just stay focused, reach out for resources, and really lead your ServiceTitan with confidence. I think that's really the key. So,
Yeah, and it's
well,
it's not gonna be overnight. It's gonna take a while, and you gotta put that time into it and
and
just
be
keep.
calm, be patient.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, yes. Well, Jess, this has been a fantastic conversation. I know, like mastering those early days of ServiceTitan to founding Titan advising gurus. I think you are really a wealth of knowledge of just utilizing the right tools in the right way and unlocking that really good potential for businesses. So whether it was optimizing your operations or even turning data into some actionable insights, I think that you really reminded us that technology is really the game changer to help you grow your company. So thank you so much.
No,
I
thank you for
appreciate you
having me.
being here. Yeah, I love your passion for helping contractors. And so it's really good. But hey, those of you that are listening, if you are ready to unlock that full potential of ServiceTitan or want to learn more about Jess's work, I have on here, Jess, visit titanadvisinggurus.com. Is that correct? Or how would you like people to reach out?
Best way would be by email right now because we are revamping our website. Um,
Oh, okay.
and that is info@titanadvisinggurus.com, and that'll
Perfect.
reach our main office.
Perfect. And we're going to put that in the show notes as well. And then are you guys on social media?
We are. We have a Facebook account. We've got all the socials, so you can reach out to us there as well.
All right. Well, that is great. Well, guys, I don't know about you, but I loved listening. I loved getting some encouragement from Jess here about just hanging on, learning those full techniques that she mentioned about reporting and things like that to really help clients grow their ServiceTitan. Because at the end of the day, if we can improve our ServiceTitan, improve our CRM in general, you can apply a lot of what Jess said to any of your CRMs. Just
Yes.
these are just best practices for really dominating that customer relationship management software that you're using. So yes, ServiceTitan we think is the beast and the guru in the space right now. But again, these are great things that you can apply to all of those that are out in the space. So thank you again, Jess, so much for being here. As always, don't forget to subscribe to From the Yellow Chair on all of our social media platforms. Download these episodes. Share this episode with people that you think it could really help. Again, thanks for sipping lemonade with From the Yellow Chair. We'll see you next time.